It's caused by a supernova, a very massive star that explodes. The inner part of the star collapses down and it forms a black hole right at the center. And what happens is it focuses twin beams of energy that shoot out in opposite directions from the black hole itself. They're like cosmic blowtorches, death rays. These things scream out at the speed of light, and the energy that is packed into these beams is staggering. It's unimaginable.
In roughly 10 seconds, these two tightly focused beams transmit more energy than our sun will emit over its entire 15 billion year lifespan.
There are almost 1 million of these going off every day. This is happening all the time.
You can talk about asteroid impacts, you can talk about solar flares, you can talk about black holes passing through the solar system. But I think pound for pound, you don't get anything more terrifying than a gamma ray burst.
Anything within 1,000 light years that lies in the path of gamma ray beams is simply vaporized. Fortunately, there are no stars close enough to vaporize our planet. But the radiation from a gamma ray burst even several thousand light years away can still devastate the Earth. In fact, there's evidence that our planet may have already been hit.
Several 100 million years ago, back when the trilobites were the kings of the Earth, these little crab-like guys that were swimming around in the ocean, it's possible that a gamma ray burst actually went off close enough to the Earth to wipe out these trilobites and a lot of life on the Earth. This was one of the biggest mass extinctions. It was even bigger than the one that wiped out the dinosaurs.
A nearby gamma ray burst will clearly pose a danger to life on our planet. But according to prophecy, the sun and moon will be darkened. How can this blinding flash of light send our world into darkness? The answer lies 8,000 light years away.
The star is called WR104. It's a funny name, but that's what we call it. And it's close enough to hurt us, and it may be aimed at us.
It's reaching the end of its lifetime, and it could, any year, blow up.
So what will happen if this distant star explodes?
You would have literally no warning, because gamma rays themselves are light. And so they're traveling at the speed of light, and since nothing can travel faster, as soon as they hit the Earth, that's it. That's our warning. So basically, we would see it, and that would be it.
Even though it's 8,000 light years away, WR104 could trigger a devastating change in our skies. Strangely enough, it's this massive blast of light that could plunge us into the darkness foretold by the 7 signs.
A gamma ray burst alters the Earth's atmospheric chemistry. It can create a layer of what is essentially smog, a thick reddish-brown, dark layer of smog that would block sunlight, and that would actually lower the Earth's temperature. It could cause an ice age.
Photosynthesis will be interrupted. Plants across the globe will die. It's also possible the sudden change will wipe out the critical bottom layer of the food chain.
Changing the microscopic life in the ocean changes the very base of the food chain. If you were to kill all of the plankton in the ocean in a very short period of time, life would stop immediately.
The whole system collapses. It's a big chain. Everything is linked to each other. The whole thing's going to fall apart.
Trapped beneath darkened skies on a frozen, dying planet, the effects of a gamma ray burst will be a nightmare for mankind. One foretold by the Bible centuries ago, a prophecy that for some will signal the end times.
At the end of time, things will be out of order. Things will be turned on their heads. The sun, which is a source of light, turns to black, and the meaning assigned to this upheaval is the imminent working of God's will to bring the world to a final end.
I don't think God needs to use anything specifically scientific to make it happen, but he could. I mean, if it's a gamma ray that causes this, he'll use whatever he has at his disposal to make it work.
In the vastness of space, there's no way to know if this sign will happen.
Everything in the universe is a matter of probabilities and chance. If your star and your planet happens to be near another massive star that's blowing up, that's it.
But the threat is out there. And at 8,000 light years away, WR-104 may have already exploded, and its deadly gamma rays could already be heading our way. And as frightening as this sign is, the biblical march toward apocalypse is about to get even worse. It's a disaster that conjures up images of hell itself. Scientists at Yellowstone take measurements. Something strange is happening. Could it be the site of a future biblical disaster? Could it be part of the 7 signs?
And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain was cast into the sea.
In the second trumpet judgment, it talks about a great mountain falling into the ocean. That could be an asteroid, but it uses the term mountain, and then it uses the term fire. A mountain bursting out of the ocean, erupting with fire.
It's one of the most dangerous and destructive forces on Earth. Could one of the 7 signs be a volcano? A look back at ancient history provides a clue. The images of fire and brimstone that define hell were inspired by the flaming magma and sulfuric gas emitted by volcanoes. Like many violent natural events, volcanic eruptions are seen by our Christian ancestors as the result of God's wrath. Mount Vesuvius erupts in 79 AD. During the same period, John of Patmos writes the book of Revelation. The eruption buries the Roman city of Pompeii. Hot volcanic ash entombs thousands of victims for all time, frozen in their final agony. Many early Christians view this as God's punishment of the pagan Roman Empire, exacted for persecuting their Christian brethren.
A volcanic eruption is an indication that God is in control of the earth, that he is the one who controls these natural phenomena.
We know too well the power of volcanoes today. Mount St. Helens in 1980, Mount Pinatubo in 1991. These eruptions and countless others have caused humans pain and suffering on an immense scale. But for a volcanic eruption to be recognized today as among the 7 signs, it will have to be of unprecedented size and destructiveness.
The result of this great mountain-like object falling into the ocean is destroying life on planet Earth.
Are there, in fact, volcanoes large enough to cause such an apocalypse? Science now confirms that there are. And just as the prophecy describes, they can be hidden in oceans or even right below us. It's a phenomenon called supervolcanoes.
A supervolcano is any volcano that emits 100 cubic kilometers or more of ash in a single eruption.
That's about 100 to 150 times more than Mount St. Helens ejected in 1980. And there are supervolcanoes scattered across the globe.
Taupo in New Zealand, a popular fishing resort on the North Island. Santorini in the Aegean. The Campi Flegrei, just west of Naples, where several 100,000 people live.
There are at least 8 supervolcanoes around the world. But they're hard to find, since they usually don't take the form of a mountain.
Most volcanoes, when they erupt explosively, leave a crater, a violent expulsion of magma that blows its roof off. When a